Welcome to the 21st Century Marketing Meetup. Ascend Business Design and Development holds these meetups to explore digital marketing practices, tools, and strategies to help you build your brand through digital media. This month we have a presentation by Damon O'Hanlon of Wandering Sage Media. Damon is addressing the use of viral marketing, getting your customers to promote your brand to their friends and others. We present his talk in 3 parts. Here is part 2. Welcome to Get Them Talking, How Viral Marketing Can Supercharge Your Business, part 2.
That was a rather successful fundraising push around winter. So there's an aspect of seasonality and timeliness to that campaign. But even though there's a complete arc and progression in that story, there's tension that they deliver, there's sort of resolving tension, and they offer people a way to resolve that tension at the end, right? Importantly, there's some sense of underlying hope to sort of mitigate the negativity that's possible there. This is not an ad for feeling bad. So there's that underlying hope throughout, and then there's a way to actually engage and make a difference at the end. So that's sort of the end of the arc, is where the customer or the audience steps in, right? They are in the position to play the hero. So when you're thinking about your own media presence on things like social media, even if you don't have something like this to tell your whole story, say in a short ad, you can think about the entire process of what you're doing as that story. And each posting that you make on social media is a piece of that. Right? So you have maybe a series of posts that have an arc, or a cluster of posting types that together make up an arc of progression, of meaning of where you're going. So I want to talk real quickly about the 4 types of messages. You can use these all over your different types of creative or marketing or branding efforts. And I will talk to about each one specifically in the context of social media. So the first one, and this is the oldest one, is features. If you go look up old marketing, it's very feature dense. They would actually take out in, say, like a print magazine, like whole blocks of text, right? It's like an essay. They were not competing as hard for people's attention, potentially, is why they thought they could put 1,000 words on a page as an ad. But also the way they were communicating information, besides that, was also the content, and it was features. So they would tell you what the product had. As a really simple example, for a bicycle, for a bell on a bicycle, they might say like crisp, loud ring, right? Or doesn't rust. These were the types of messages that you see all the time. About 100 years ago, somewhere 100 to 120, it was almost exclusively these types of messages. Now, should you have these types of messages? Yes. And the reason why is because they are grounded. You're explaining how, right? It's how you're doing the thing that you're doing, right? And that helps people. But they don't really care that much about how. They care about how because of something else, right? If you're doing something that they don't care about, they don't care how you do it. Which brings us to benefits. This is a much more common one to see nowadays than back then, and it sort of entered in, I think, about somewhere between 30 to 50 years into the history of marketing. People started to spend less time describing the product and more time talking about what it does for you. You can see why this is a more compelling argument to make, right? Or more persuasive thing to focus on. If it benefits me, I still care about how you do it because that helps me understand the whole thing, but I have a clear personal investment for it. So with a bicycle bell, it's moving from saying like crisp, loud ring to saying people will move out of your way, right? Like that's a clear benefit. But around the 50s, 60s, 70s type of time, the focus continued to evolve as the discipline of branding and marketing got more sophisticated. They tended to think about experience, right? Because our daily experiences are so powerful. They really affect us in ways that are immediate. Boom, they come right at you. And you can't really check out of those experiences. They just are what they are. So as a really interesting example, like I think about 2 years ago, I had the really surprising experience of finding $50 in my pocket. The only time in my life I found $50 in my pocket. I put a $50 bill in there at some point, and I put in a jacket just before the end of winter, hung up that jacket, put that jacket on, started a new winter. $50, it's a small thing. It shouldn't be that big a deal, but hey, I'll remember that for the rest of my life. Weird moment, right? And people react on a gut level very quickly to things. And then later, we have a mental engagement with it. Doesn't have to be much later. It could be seconds later. But it happens in the gut like that. And then we tell ourselves stories about it, engage with it critically. Like, is this a good thing for me? How do I feel about it? Ask those kind of questions on a more cognitive level. That's later. So if you can speak to people's experiences, you can connect with them in a more powerful, deeper, more affecting way. When you're talking about a bicycle bell, now the marketing messages move to something else. It's more like ride home in safety, right? It's not people get out of your way, it's ride home in safety. And you can see how from there you can make other types of products as well. If your company's not about bicycle bells, but about riding home in safety, you have a lot more options. And the meaning of what you're doing in the life of your customers, clients, audience is becoming more clear. Even though it's getting bigger, it's actually becoming easier to relate to. And in the last 20 years or so, and especially with the rise of social media, we've seen that focus on meaning evolve even more. And I'm going to turn to that phrase arc, right? The picture, the big picture of how things fit together and where you fit within it. That's different from the previous period of experiences. You could sell a vacation and say something like, feel the warm sun on your skin sitting at the beach, right? And that's an experience and a meaningful one. But how does that fit into your life story? The type of life you're trying to build, the type of family you're trying to build, the type of person you're trying to be, your ability to be your best self at work, doing your best work. Now that meaningful experience is situated in a bigger context, the context of your life. And from a bike bell perspective, like we've moved from, nice loud bell to people move out of your way to ride home in safety to what would it mean to your family if they knew that you were at home safe tonight? How is what you're doing affecting the type of lives that people want to build? Because people are keenly aware of what an intimate relationship social media has with them in their lives, and they want you to be part of that. Now, I want to talk to you real quick about not the big picture, but the big pictures.
This is the end of part 2. Damon's talk continues with Get Them Talking, How Viral Marketing Can Supercharge Your Business, part 3. Thank you for listening. We hope you have enjoyed part 2 of this 3-part talk on viral marketing. The 21st Century Marketing Meetups are a project of Ascend Business Design and Development. Our mission at Ascend is to help companies grow profitably. We provide digital marketing design and implementation as well as financial management for growing companies. For more videos of the 21CM meetups, visit us on the web at 21cm.global. Do you have a question or a digital marketing need? Reach out to us at Ascend. We're here to help your business grow.